Hi, Richa.
Hi, Mitul. Good evening.
Good evening to you as well, both of you. Hope you're doing fine.
All good, all good. Thank you for asking. All good at your end?
Yes. Everything fine and good that we are having this webinar for the students. And this is the first time we are having this sort of webinar with ISB. And thank you very much. I'm sure the students will benefit a lot from this webinar. I've told students that, not necessarily that just because only if you're targeting ISB in general, you should always attend info sessions of top B schools. At least you'll come to know what is the psyche of these B schools.
Absolutely.
What are they looking for in the student, the profile, the score, and the work X, and the other things, the scholarships and the deadlines and all that. A lot of things remain common.
Absolutely. The overall canvas remains the same. The recruitment process remains the same for most of these top schools. Yeah, true that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So thanks. And this year was the record break. Like I remember, like ISB started like what 15 years back.
20 years back.
20 years back. So I started my career like 21 years back in the year 2001.
Oh wow!
And that time when the first year of ISB, that time itself, like when the batch size was also not very.
I think there hardly 135 students in batch one.
Yeah. So in that first year itself, 6 of my students were there in ISB that time.
Oh my God!
Students always used to ask, that time like 20 years back, Mitul, it's a new college, like we should go for it. I said it's a collaboration of collaboration with Wharton and Kellogg's. So,
right.
Like how bad it can be, so at least try here. So that was the first year, and then ever since students have been our students going to ISB have been growing.
I tell you about it. You should visit the campus sometime. You have a bunch of your fans here. So whenever we do this survey with the students, or whenever we do this market pulse, we hear your name, Mitul sir, MJ, Mitul sir. And I was like, okay, we have to meet your Mitul sir one day. And here we are. So we look forward to hosting you, Mitul, in person on Hyderabad campus or Mohali campus. I'm sure your students are going to really, really appreciate this initiative. So let's do this time in person.
Definitely, provided you have pizzas available on a campus, because
we'll get you one. We'll get you one. Don't think you won't like the pizzas that they make on the campus, but we'll get you one. We'll order it. So Swiggy it.
Fine, thanks. So anyways, starting from that, like 20 years back, now we have like this current year, we have like 38 students in the current batch in ISB, and I'm sure this number will keep on growing every year.
I'm sure, Mitul, I must tell you that I think the kind of one-to-one focus that you are giving to the students, it's commendable, I must say that. And I think that's what the students are liking about it. They like that one-to-one attention. They're getting the best from the best. So it makes a difference, right? They know before signing up, they know what they're getting into. You're the face, they know that you're the tutor. So that always helps. Yes.
Yeah. So we always say, like, it has been like 21 years. I've trained more than 15,000 students. And it's very, one USP, what we have is like, unlike other commercial brands where the training is delegated to the substandard trainers, here we ourselves teach, we don't delegate, so that is one thing. And like the founders are still teaching, like very few prep classes you will find where the founders are still there and teach and not delegate. Plus these are live interactive classes with two-way communication. We have 24/7 doubt solving forum. We have like a 20 mocks, 12-month validity. We give TOEFL, IELTS complimentary. Basic counseling is complimentary. We have free orientation, free sessions, and other things coming up. So a lot of value addition students get. So definitely we not only just to boost the score when it comes to exams like GMAT and GRE, they get the best score possible, but other value-added services, we help them a lot with the alumni of the particular college, and like we guide them and we mentor them. So the overall thing is a lot. So I hope students, the way they benefit from my training to reach to ISB, this session will also benefit them. Absolutely. And to not only to ISB, but in general their perception or the myths and misconception regarding applications and regarding getting to top these schools will automatically get clear.
Right.
And yeah,
Absolutely.
thanks.
We will be covering that at length because with the upcoming deadline on December 4th, I think the critical piece is going to be about the do's and don'ts and how to, there is no right or wrong, but yes, you can only make it better and better, always work on it. It's always strengthening your case each day, right? So yeah, looking forward to the session today. And I think we've got good number of participation already in the window.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Fine. Yes, you can go ahead, Richa. Over to you.
All right, so great. So thank you, Mitul, for this opportunity and a very warm welcome. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to today's session. I think Mitul and myself, we are extremely thankful first for you to take out time on a Saturday evening and join us today. So thank you for that. So before I start, with my monologue, I'll take about 10-15 minutes, but I want to quickly do a test. How many of you all have attended our session before, our ISB Info Session? A quick show of hand, so that I know how much time I have to spend on the slides, and I don't want to bore you. I want to straight away jump to the question. I want to interact with you. So quick show of hand will help. We have got 100+ students. How many of you all have attended? Okay, not many, 6. Okay, so guys, all 6 of you all, thank you so much for joining us again. But please allow me 10 minutes. I want to, for the larger audience who've not attended the session before, let me introduce ISB to them. Let me tell them the origin story of ISB. I think Mitul has very gracefully covered the 2001, but I have few slides. I will not spend more than 10-15 minutes. And then starting 6 o'clock, we'll open up the floor for questions and we'll unmute you. We'll take questions, right? So with that, I'll quickly share my slides and start with the story of ISB, guys. So let me first introduce ISB. ISB, yes, as Mitul mentioned, started in 2001, 20 years back. And when we started out with one single vision of being topmost research focus, creating future leadership pipeline, right? So for that, we decided not to reinvent the wheel, but to partner with the best. So we started out with Kellogg's and Wharton. Kellogg's and Wharton are our founding associate B schools, like Mitul rightly said. And what is it that they bring to the table? We have faculty exchange, we have student exchange, and we also have curriculum design. They have a huge say in which the entire management of the program is done at ISB. Moving on, we also partnered with LBS and MIT. LBS and MIT bring in their expertise in research. They are foremost business schools known for their research, right? So that's where we get our research practices. We have faculty exchange and student exchange again with these schools. Finally, we also partnered with Fletcher School. Fletcher School is known for its law and legal expertise. That's where we get our public policy expertise from. We have a research center on public policy at our campus, wherein we are on the advisory for a lot of projects with the state and the central government. So not just these 5 colleges, guys, we also have collaboration with 50 other colleges, wherein we have 200+ visiting faculty who come and deliver the entire term at ISB. Talking about being the topmost school, ISB is the youngest school in the FT ranking list, guys, in the top 50 schools, which also means that ISB in very less time has been consistently topping the charts of leadership board, right? We've been consistently ranked #1 school in India. We're #4 in Asia. We're #32 globally. We're also #1 in the highest salary growth in world for the highest salary growth that we have to offer to our students. So that was about FT. We have other rankings as well. We're #1 by The Economist, #1 by the Bloomberg, #12 by Poets and Quants, so on and so forth. In short, in very less time, ISB has been able to win a lot of students' mind and hearts and has been able to deliver quality education with global exposure, with cutting edge curriculum right here in the heart of the country. Moving on to what is it that ISB has to offer to its students now, right? So if you are looking for doing an MBA program, pursuing an MBA program in the future, so what is it that you should look for in a B school as well, right? First, the faculty. We have a great portfolio model that we call at ISB. So what is portfolio model? We have resident faculty, we have visiting faculty, we have clinical faculty. Resident faculty, fairly simple. They are faculty living on the campuses, they're ISB faculty. Visiting faculty, we talked about with our partner schools, our collaborations. We have over 200+ visiting faculty. Now, clinical faculty is a new term. Clinical faculty are not professors, guys. They are industry experts. They're subject matter experts of their respective industry or function. For example, you all have heard of NASA. And who was the former chief knowledge officer of NASA? Dr. Edward Roger. Dr. Edward Roger has been serving at NASA for over 2 decades. He recently retired last year rather, and he has been teaching as a clinical faculty at ISB for over a decade. And what does he teach, right? The next question. He teaches managing business complexity. So who can better explain, or who better handles business complexity than a rocket scientist himself, right? So that's the kind of caliber, that's the kind of quality education that we believe in imparting to our students, with, again, the single one objective that we offer the best education, quality education from top-notch faculty and experts from various schools and various organizations across the globe. Very quickly, we move on to the second point. I'm not going to spend too much point here because, again, all of this is there on the website, guys. The whole purpose is that it's an integrated learning process. We have classroom learning. We have outside classroom learning. Classroom learning, fairly simple, 1 year, core courses, electives, specializations, case methodology. Your outside classroom learning, you have your peer networking opportunities, 900 students on the campus, great learning opportunity. You have student exchange programs, another learning opportunities. We have professional clubs, social clubs, wherein they conduct various workshops, conferences, which again provides you a platform to learn from industry leaders and various students who participate in those competitions, right? Now, case comps is another opportunity. A bunch of students recently won a gold prize in Singapore, and a bunch of students won the case award in Amazon. So again, opportunity for you to showcase your talent and compete with the global or the domestic students. Great learning opportunities again. Finally, what is it that we have for our professionals and entrepreneurs? Guys, at ISB, we don't offer internship. But why? Because when you join ISB, irrespective of which entry you are taking, either direct entry or the early entry or the YLP route, ultimately, when you join the PGP program, you at least have 2 years of working experience, right? And that's why internships are not offered, because internships are offered by those schools where they recruit fresh graduates, right? However, does that mean that we keep you away from the industry application? No. What is it that we have for you? We have the experiential learning program. It's a 3-month module wherein you work as a consultant in one of the organizations on a live business project, and a faculty member is assigned to you as a mentor. Okay, you present your findings, your observations to the organization, and again, a great opportunity for you to convert it into a PPO. So that's for the working professionals or those who want to move into corporate post their graduation. What is it that we have for our entrepreneurs or folks who want to move into entrepreneurship? We have incubation cells, guys, on either of our campuses. They offer various learning modules. We have a dedicated design module called Planning an Entrepreneurial Venture. Now, within this component, whether it is from the ideation to the go-to-market strategy and everything in between, creating your business plan, pitching it to the VC, raising funds, assigning you a mentor, could be a faculty, alum, industry expert, they take care of everything. If your startup is incubated at the end, after you've completed your program, at the end of your program, at the end of this 1 year, for next 1 year, they take care of your living expenses. They give you a free office space for 1 year. They give you a stipend so that you can take care of your loan EMI or your other living expenses. And after 1 year, if you've not stabilized, if your startup is not in a sustainable this thing and you're not confident, you can come back to ISB and sit at the placements again. So these are the various platforms, opportunity that ISB provides you to take that career plunge, right? All of this, guys, is there on the website. This is just a quick introduction of your learning opportunities here. Very important slide, guys, again. So all of those who have questions about this is my profile and do I stand a chance, guys, look at the gender diversity or the academic diversity. We have phenomenal diversity on the campuses. The blue numbers are Hyderabad, the green numbers are Mohali, and across both the campuses, we ensure that diversity is maintained. Whether be it age profile, the work experience profile, it's a range. Work experience ranges from 2 to 25 years. All right. Another important data point on this slide is the GMAT GRE score, guys. This range is not prescribed by ISB. but it's the range in which our current class students are there. For GMAT 610 to 780, GRE 306 to 339. So for all of those questions, that ma'am, what's that one right score? What is that one ideal score that I should get? Guys, there's no ideal score. ISB gives a lot of weightage and importance to other elements of your application form. We'll talk more about it when we come to the admission process, right? We'll quickly move on to the next very important slide, which is a quick snapshot of all of those profiles, all of those students who come from very unconventional backgrounds, right? You could be a lawyer, you could be a Fauji, you could be a doctor, you could be an influencer, vlogger, musician, a sports person. We have in our current class, Ajay Jairam. He's an ace shuttler, world champion badminton player, and he's ranked 13. Next year, we have an IPL player who will be joining the cohort. So irrespective of which background you are, which industry you represent, which function you represent, ISB values your diversity, values what you bring to the table, right? So this slide is for all of those who come from very unconventional background, but are not sure whether MBA schools are interested in those profiles. So answer is yes, and this is how the class looks like. Moving on to the third important point, which is the quality network. Guys, again, very important. In 20 years, in 2 decades, ISB has built a formidable network of 13,500 plus alums. 550 plus alums are already at CXO position. Over 600 alums are entrepreneurs. And we're very proudly, we're very proud about the accomplishments. About 12 plus unicorns have been founded or co-founded by ISB alums, right? So this is a formidable network that we've built. 2 takeaways for you guys on this slide. One, guys, on my extreme right hand side, you see a data point that 79% of our alums are based out of India and 21% of them are based in the rest of the world. So all of those questions about, will this program help me transition my career into international market, or will this program give me an opportunity to move into another country? That's your answer. Over a period of time, the alums and students have been able to create their mark in boundaries beyond. The second important takeaway on this slide is, guys, that at ISB, we believe in lifelong learning. Right? Your learning at ISB does not get over with this 1 year, for which we've formulated special interest groups. So based on your interest, you can be part of one or many of these SIGs. What is it that they do? They conduct on a regular basis, either the city meets or online sessions with various faculty. Faculty members could be from ISB, could be any of our partnered collaboration schools. Also industry leaders, wherein they discuss industry best practices. Again, learning opportunity for you to get absorb about what's going on, what's new, to unlearn and relearn, right? So these are the 2 important takeaways for you from this slide. Very quickly, we'll move on to the next slide, which is the facilities. Guys, we have 2 world-class campuses. One thing to keep in mind is that it's an integrated admissions process. Guys, you only apply to ISB. You don't apply to Hyderabad or Mohali. The final allocation, you can indicate your preference in the application form. However, the final decision is made by the school, keeping the diversity in mind. In my earlier slides, in my previous slide, I've briefly talked about how we are able to beautifully maintain that diversity quotient across 2 campuses. So to ensure that there is equal learning opportunity across both the campuses, the final decision is done by the school. Second, we have an integrated placements process as well. Each year, all 900 students are on the Hyderabad campus. The recruitment is happening on this campus. Subsequent year, all 900 students and the entire recruitment drill is happening on the Mohali campus. So the recruiters don't know whether you're an ISB Mohali or an ISB Hyderabad student. All they know that they're recruiting an ISB student. Your final award of the degree does not mention the campus. Your final alum status, the alum card that is awarded to you so that you get unlimited access to the campuses and the library and the recreation center, does not make a mention of the campus. So you are an ISB student and you will be an ISB alum, right? So that's the experience that we give. Finally, you also get an opportunity, that is exchange program within the campuses as well. Mohali students get to spend 1 term on Hyderabad campus, and vice versa. Hyderabad students get an opportunity to spend 1 term on the Mohali campus. Moving on, the final and the fifth and the last point here is career opportunities, placements, very important. I talked about ISB being #1 B school in the world for the highest salary growth. So let's look at the data. 900 students, more than 2,000 offer letters, which means essentially on an average, each student gets more than 2 offer letters. The average salary is 34 lakhs and the pre-ISB, post-ISB salary growth is 173%. On my extreme right hand side, the Venn diagram, guys, very important again, all of those folks who have questions about, I'm from an X industry, will I be able to transition into Y industry? Or if I am from an A function, I want to move into another function, B function, will it possible? Will ISB PGP give me that leverage? Will give me that, will act as a catalyst? That's your answer. 79% of the current cohort, of the entire cohort that we have on the campus has seen a functional shift. 78.5 saw industry shift, both industry and functional about 65%, right? So ISB will be that right platform for you to transition. However, the learning, absorbing more and more education and knowledge, that is something that you'll have to take the initiatives on. Coming to the admission process now, that's the final piece. 3 entry routes I talked about: direct entry for folks who've already got more than 2 years of experience, early entry, who have completed their graduation, completed their bachelor's degree, and have less than 2 years of experience. Young Leaders Program is for those who are still in their final or pre-final year. All the 3 buckets, all the 3 genres ultimately are part of the main PGP cohort. Application process is an online application process. For EO and direct entry, you should have completed your bachelor's degree, upload your details, academic details, upload your work experience details, and you should have a valid score, GMAT or GRE, online or test center, whether it's an official score or an unofficial score, we accept all of these scores. There are 2 essays, 1 LOR. If you've already started working on your application, happy to take any questions. If you've not already started working on the application, guys, thoroughly recommend that please log in and start working on it bit by bit. Please do not leave the application for the nth moment that after my score, after my GMAT GRE, then I will spend 2 days. Ho jayega. You will be able to fill this application form in 2-3 hours. It's a lengthy process, but it's a simple process. So you will be able to finish, but why do you want to tire yourself? Why do you want to impact your creativity that you can bring to the essays, right? Essays, 2 essays, topics are already given. The first is the first one focuses on you, the unique you, what you bring to the table, how you can contribute to the ISB community, right? So that's the first essay. And the second essay is fairly simple. What are your career goals? Put simply, we want to understand how ISB can help you get there, right? You would have identified your strengths and weaknesses, and how are you going to fill the gap utilizing ISB as a platform. Another important point, scholarships. Since a lot of students keep asking me about scholarship, let me address this, guys. Scholarships are available for round 2 and round 3. Yes. For round 2, it's up to 75% of tuition fee waiver. Round 3, up to 50% of tuition fee waiver. For Indian students, the first 3 buckets are applicable. Merit-based, need-based, diversity. Merit, fairly simple. All applicants, all of the prospects are automatically eligible for the merit-based. Your final scoring, the final score that you get, your essay score and everything, the total overall application quality plus your interview scoring, you get a final total score. Based on that, you are on the merit list. Second, fairly simple. If your family income is less than 18 lakhs, this is for all the entrepreneurs or in social sector, or even working professionals who their family income is less than 18 lakhs. Eligible for need-based. Diversity, this we pick it up from the essay. You could be a your function or the industry that you represent could be very niche, or you could be from an unconventional background. So this is a creative space for you to put forward your best case, and this gives you an opportunity. You can apply to all 3. However, you will only be awarded 1 scholarship. It could be either of these 3, whichever is highest. So if your merit score is highest, that will be awarded to you, or if your diversity score is highest, the diversity waiver will be given to you. So whichever is the highest will be awarded to you. So yes, that's it. I'm on time. This brings to the official PPT coming to an end, and the deadline is December 4th. That's the QR code. If you want to get started, please get started. Kaushik will also post the link in the window. So if you want to start building your application, that's about it. With that, I'll stop the share. And we are happy to take questions, folks. And Over to you, Mitul.
I should be getting the first chance to ask questions here.
Oh, great.
So I'll tell you what, these are those questions which I get from my students also.
Sure.
So they're not like, we train for both GMAT as well as GRE, but students keep on asking this one question that, is it so that they, just like other top B schools abroad, ISB also gives more weightage to GMAT over GRE? Just clarify this one general doubt.
Sure, Mitul, thank you for asking that question. A very important question. A lot of students also write to me or message me on LinkedIn. So guys, both the tests are independently treated. First, there is no preference on one score over the other. Second, we do not convert any of the scores to another one. We don't convert GRE into GMAT or vice versa. With all due respect to both the engines, both of them are treated independently. Right. And also another thing, guys, a lot of people also question me that why are there less students of GRE in the class? Guys, because it's the impact of the outer funnel. In my outer funnel itself, there are only so much people applying through GRE. Further down, when they percolate in the bottom of the funnel, that's why you see less representation of GRE in the class. But we are very confident that with we are working very closely with GRE team, and they are increasing their penetration in India markets. So I'm sure over a period of time, we'll have a good 50-50 mix. But there is, long story cut short, no as such preference given to any test. Please play on your strength. Both the formats are different, right? So whatever is convenient to you, go for it. And we welcome both the tests, put simply. Yeah.
One more general question what students ask is that, is it so that, I know placements happen common for both Hyderabad and Mohali campus, but they keep on asking, is Hyderabad the flagship campus and the Mohali is like a secondary subsidiary? So I say, I normally, like, that's what I have heard from others also, both the campuses are equally good, the faculties remain common, the placements remain common, but if you can just throw some more light on this question.
Oh yes, Mitul. So guys, yes, Hyderabad started out early in 2001 and the Mohali campus was launched in 2012, but that doesn't make it as a primary or the secondary. I generally play a video, but in the online session, I typically avoid all of this because I try to keep it interactive. But I would thoroughly recommend you to look at that video where we've compared the student life of both the campuses, and you will find that there is absolutely no difference. The kind of facilities that are available on the campus for students, both of them are par excellence and similar. Mitul very rightly captured that it's the same faculty, right? So you will have the same LBS, Wharton, Kellogg, same faculty coming and teaching you the same session. The electives remain the same. In fact, during the electives, if there are about 60 people signing off for, let's say, Magic Business Complexity, have to be sort of recruited under Dr. Edward Rogers. So either Mohali or Hyderabad, all 60 of you all stay together and do that elective. So the learning experience is same, guys. Nobody, believe you, nobody is questioning you, whether it be the recruiter or whether it be any of the industry, whether you tomorrow go on and pick up any other organization. Nobody is interested. Did you study in Mohali campus or did you study in Hyderabad campus? As long as you know your business well, as long as you know the role well, as long as you know your content well, nobody is questioning you. Nobody is even interested in which campus. It's just a logistical ease that we cannot have all 900 students on one campus because it's only this much that Hyderabad can absorb. It's just for that sake. But guys, absolutely, we've in 20 years, not a single alum has come to us saying that opportunities are less. Not at all.
Great. One last question from my side, then you can take students from, I'm sure these are also a very common question what a lot of students would like to ask. They keep on asking me that, Mitul, is there any base cutoff score for GMAT or GRE, which I normally reply that no, these schools have like a cutoff score kind of thing, but still, they keep on asking, Mitul, what is a safe score to apply? I said there are so many variables here. It depends on in which round you're applying, and your other background and your other profile, everything. But is it so that ISB has is keeping some cutoff score for GMAT or GRE?
So Mitul, officially there is no cutoff score, but I can tell you ballpark for Indian students, it should definitely not go less than 600. Okay. We do have international students. We have students coming in from other parts of the world, wherein we have 560, 580, 540 scores. But for Indian students, for GMAT, I would recommend nothing less than 600. Okay. And for GRE, nothing less than 305.
Okay.
So this is below line. Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, other students who are listening to this, very few students I have seen, like I've like, you know, who have got like, you know, when they, even when they apply with like a 650 also to someone to a B school like ISB and others.
Yeah.
They've got rejection saying that, you know what, you need to increase your GMAT score, or even if they apply like with a 315 or 320 in GRE, they say, no, you know, try to take one more attempt. So basically, you know, when you get a 600 in your GMAT, or when you get 305 in your GRE, that just makes you eligible, provided other things are super excellent.
Absolutely, absolutely. You cannot say that this is like, mera ho jayega. You know, I'm done and dusted. There are other elements that you'll have to really ace at. The essays, guys. So let me give you a long-winded answer here. In all, there are 6 parameters that you are essentially graded on, right? The first one we have been discussing about it, GMAT, GRE. That's the first one, let's say. The second one is, guys, your essays. A lot of students make this mistake that they leak their essay for the last 2 days. And then they think that, oh, I'm not able to think well, because you have to have conversations with self. You have to ask yourself, what are my challenges? What is it that I want to learn? What will make me a better leader? How will I ace my next switch or my next transition? This takes time. This takes at least 1 or 2 days of thinking. You'll be able to then put together first draft and then iterations. Within 1 week, it will take a structure. You cannot leave it for the last 1 day or the last 2-3 hours. So essay is very important. Third, your letter of recommendation. Please choose your recommender very, very wisely. In the last moment, please don't ask your friend to write it. Don't ask your team member to write it. Onboard your senior in your journey, in your learning journey, because only your senior would have seen you as a future leader, would have seen the potential leadership skills in you. So the way he writes your recommendation letter will be very different from somebody who's at the same level, who's your colleague, or somebody who's reporting into you, right? So somebody who's reporting into you will see you as a boss, but not as a leader. So that changes the game. There's a difference, right? So there are basic questions maybe on your contribution to the project, your challenges, your never give up attitude, how you don't give up, how you are resilient. Your reporting manager, only your senior will be able to see that, oh, you know what, he doesn't give up. Come what may, hell break loose, he doesn't stop. So that's the perspective that brings in through your LOR. So that is important. Fourth, your academic pedigree. Now, when I say academic pedigree, while some schools are very, very particular about you should have 80%, 90%, guys, we are not looking at 80, 90, right? It's totally just fine even if you've got 40, 50%. But what we're looking at is that because it's a postgraduate program, you've successfully completed your graduation. Because the program is delivered in English, we have a lot of visiting faculty who come in. Do you understand the basic English language, right? So have you done English as a language, primary language in your 10th, 12th? So these are the basics that we check in. And of course, if you have done any extracurricular activities, sports, clubs, marathons, part of any, volunteered in an NGO or anything, again, please do mention. These are all brownie points which will get you for diversity. And accumulation of this, right? The fifth one is your career progression. Now, career progression also, a lot of people say, ma'am, I'm only a manager or a senior manager. Guys, it's not about designation. It's not about your salary. It's about the kind of work that you've done. It's a kind of profile that you are in, the impact that you're driving in your organization, right? So you could be a manager then, you are still a manager, but the kind of roles and responsibilities you were handling 2 years or 4 years back, and how you have evolved, you are handling better projects, you're handling more roles and responsibilities, indicates that your leadership is showing confidence in you, that your leadership is allowing you to grow within the organization or maybe in another organization. So we're looking at progression. We're not looking at promotions or designation. All of these 5 elements put together gives you a score which shortlists you for interview or rejects you for interview. If you're shortlisted for interview, your 6th score gets added, which is your panel discussion with the alums. They will give their recommendation, they will give their marking. And so it's a 5 + 1 total of 6 that you get. So that's how, Mitul, it is important that it's not just score, it's a combination of all of these. And you very rightly said that people only focus on one element. And guys, don't worry about what you've done in your school or how you started out your career. That is something you cannot change. Control the controllables. What is it that you can control today? your preparation, your recommendation, you're working on the essay. So these are the things that you can focus on.
Great, great. In fact, there was a similar example, like one of my students got into Harvard last year.
Right.
His GMAT was only 580. Yeah. But like a unique thing that he was an Olympics participant. Like he didn't win any medal, but being an Olympics participant itself is like a big thing.
Absolutely.
So,
perfect. Right.
Like that. And just a fun fact, in the slide you have this guy Chirag.
Right.
So Chirag was also my student. And also you spoke about this shuttler Jairam, his colleague Shlok Ramchandran is my student, and he got into ISB. He'll be joining the upcoming batch.
Oh, lovely. Oh, lovely. And by the way, Chirag has got 100% scholarship.
Yes, I know. So Shlok Ramchandran, he's also a national level badminton player.
Right.
You see his YouTube is there on everywhere, and he has his own academy also. Now he's getting into ISB next year. So basically, every year we produce the highest number of 700 plus scorers in GMAT and the highest number of 300 plus.
And I'm so confident. The kind of course, the kind of one-to-one attention that they get from their tutors helps. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So and this year, we have trained more than 900 students this calendar year, and with more than 700 students only for GMAT, around 250 plus only for GRE.
We'll have a mini MJ within ISB.
Yes, I know. And then this is like when it comes to GMAT, 700 plus in the same calendar year. That's the highest number of students for any prep company, across the globe.
Wow,
Thanks.
amazing.
Yes.
Which also tells me that you should be visiting campus now.
Pakka. Done. A sure thing next year. Sure.
Done.
And fine, Richard, thanks. I will now log off from this webinar, and I think let other students. I'll be there, but I'll be on mute. Okay. And if required, I'll intervene. But yes, you can start. I think you should start taking the questions.
Sure, Mitul. Sure, we'll start taking questions from the audience. Thank you so much for that. And over to you guys. Feel free to unmute yourself, ask us a question. If you're unable to unmute, please show of hand, and we'll have our AAV team to help you. Yes, Tanisha, please go ahead with your question. Tanisha, can you hear us?
Yes, actually, all these students are trained to first raise their hand. So that's what happens in my class. They cannot just ask the question directly.
No, all the
first raise their hand.
The show of hand helps.
That's how they are trained.
The show of hand helps so that we follow the order and everybody gets the turn. So great. Basically, I think the Guruji is around, so the students will be. All right. So yes, Tanisha, please go ahead with your question.
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to ask, in my profile, if I don't have a sports background per se. Yeah. And if I'm not, I can't add that to my CV, I'm not a national basketball player or anything, but is there any way to improve my profile in terms of making my CV look great before I apply in an academic background or in other ways that I can really contribute to it?
Sure. So Tanisha, you need to understand that everybody who applies is not from a sports background, right? But they work on the other aspects. You could talk about. So it's okay to not have a hobby. It's okay if you've not volunteered or, been a part of any of the NGOs before. It's okay if you've never been part of a sports club. There are those people, they work on their essays, they work on their why ISB story, how they can now contribute to maybe the various clubs or the research centers. So please work on those elements. So don't worry. If you've not done this before, it is not that it will impact your candidature now. We have over 80% of the folks, so to say, I can't give you the exact number, but approximately 80% of the cohort who's coming from a very, very, usual academic background, started working just like you and me. I was never part of any of these sports and all. So it's just fine. Don't worry about it. Don't get overwhelmed that I don't have those spikes. Maybe you have other spikes about your clarity of what you want to do next, how you will create an impact in the ISB and then beyond. That will get you more points. So it's okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
All the best, Tanisha. Thank you. Yes, Diksha, please go ahead with your question.
Sure. Thank you. Hi, Richa. Am I audible?
Yes, loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Yes, so basically, thank you for the slides. They were really informative. But I had to ask you about the work experience, like what
Sure.
kind of work experience is actually accepted? For example, we also have a lot of people working for the family business. So do you
Yeah.
even consider that, or is it only corporate related? So if you
No,
could.
no, absolutely. You could be part of your family business. You could be running your own startup, small, big, medium-sized. As long as after your graduation, you've been part of that enterprise, it's absolutely a valid work experience.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All the best. All right, we move on to the next question. Hi, Kriya.
Hi, Richa. Thank you for the presentation. My query is regarding the exchange program that ISB conducts with foreign international schools. So I want to understand that how does this whole exchange program work? How long is the duration? Is it paid? And how are the students selected? Is it something like, do we have like interview rounds? Is there a selection process for it? And is this included into the 1 year period that we have, or a 1 year timeline that we have at ISB?
Sure. You will love the answer. So first, let me tell you that it is part of this 1 year. Your tuition fee of this exchange program is already part of the program fee. What additionally you'll have to bear is probably the visa and the travel charges. Okay, but instead of, it's like, instead of doing marketing term in ISB, you've chosen to attend the marketing term in, let's say, Kellogg's. So that's it. That's the thing. Now, how do you go about? What's the process of getting shortlisted? It's a very interesting process that we call as bidding. Okay, so there's no interview process. It's not that your CGPA gets impacted, that you should have X CGPA and only then you can get shortlisted for the exchange program. It's purely based on bidding. Each student, all 900 of you all, get, for now currently, 4,500 points when you join ISB. Now, this is like currency. This is like dollars that you can spend. So for exchange program, the maximum that you can spend is 1,700 points. So they do bidding. Kellogg says, I can only take 20 students from ISB this year. So they will open up in the LMS, they will open up the bidding auction for you. And how it goes is, let's say today, all 100 of you all want to do marketing at Kellogg's. Then what happens is, fastest finger first. The first 20 students, the fastest timestamp of the first 20 students, they will be extended the opportunity to go to any of the schools that you want to. So that's how we follow. It's a bidding process. It's not an interview. It's not based on interview, or there's no selection process. Or if your CGPA is low or anything of that sort, no, it's bidding.
Richa, there's this question from my end. That you mentioned the 6 parameters. So if you can throw some light on the percentage of split, that will be really helpful. I know, like,
Sure, Mayank. I have an answer to that question, but unfortunately, I will not be able to talk about the weightage that each parameter is given. But I can only give you a hint that the maximum weightage or the most important parameters are the ones which you can control now, which is going to impact the current you and what you want to immediately do, which is 1 year at ISB and post your ISB, your next career switch, right? So the first 3 elements that I talked about, your essay, your LOR, and your score, right? So these 3 are the most important parameters. They hold the maximum weightage. I will not be able to say the exact percentage, if that's okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Kaushik. So I hope that was answered regarding the student exchange. And we'll move on to the next question. Hi, Kriya. Okay.
Yeah, I think all the question that I had at mind. Thank you.
Okay, great. Hope that answered, Kriya. And I hope it's sort of, you found it interesting. The whole process is not based on any of the recruitment or anything. It's just pure short bidding. So yeah.
It did sound quite interesting. So yeah, thank you.
Great. Moving on. Hi, my namesake, Richa.
Yeah, hi, Richa.
Yes, please go ahead.
Actually, could you please more elaborate on executive MBA program, because that's what I'm looking for.
Executive MBA program. Okay, so Richa, we have a separate team for executive MBA programs. In executive, we have 2 programs. One is for PGP Pro. The other is PGP Max. PGP Pro is designed for those folks who've got more than 5 years of experience. PGP Max is designed for very senior CXO, CXO -1, -2 level folks. So if you want, you can just drop in your email ID, Kaushik, just make note of it and we'll pass it on to the concerned team. Sure, Richa. Okay. And we'll move on to the next question. Hi, Jyoti. Good evening.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
Yes, please go ahead.
So, ma'am, ISB has always been my dream college. So, I hope I join it soon. But now I want to ask you, I have done multiple social work in my college days, but I've never asked for certificates because I was self-volunteering.
Sure.
For example, when I started working here in Delhi, there is a blind school. I go there for recreational activities with my children. But I never thought about this in that way that I'll get some certificates. But now when I saw that in the application form or in the interviews, and a good NGO will.
No, so Jyoti, there is no good NGO, bad NGO, right? You volunteered during school at one of these institutes in one of these organizations. So just talk about it in the application form. If you see, if you log in, we are not even asking for any certificate or any proof, any documentation. Believe you me, the alums are very senior most alums. They are very experienced alums rather. They know, they've been through this process, they know how a student mind works, right? So in the interview, they will assess, they will know how much work you've done and how seriously you've taken that assignment and how seriously how passionate you are about the cause. So the alums will take care of in the interview, not problem, no certificates.
So last month I got selected for this very reputed NGOs that works with children. So, but I will be getting its certificate after a year, but I'm preparing to appear in round 3. So without certificate, I can mention that, right?
Yes, absolutely. You can do that. And when are you writing your exam, Jyoti, if I may ask?
Ma'am, December.
Okay, December.
22nd December. Actually, I haven't got that much marks. I got 620, but I am expecting to get score above 700.
Sure.
So I'll be appearing again.
Yeah, then certainly R3 is the game for you. Yes. Because if you are writing your exam on or before December 4th, I would thoroughly recommend to go for R2. But yes, if your exam is only after any date after December 4th, then yes, R3. R3 is going to be mid-Jan. I don't have the approved dates yet, but tentatively mid-Jan.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
All the best. All the best, Jyoti.
Thank you.
Right. So we move on to Vraj. Hi, Vraj. Over to you. Please ask your question.
Hi, Richa.
Hi.
Yeah. I hope I'm audible.
Loud and clear.
Yeah. So I just wanted to know what is the role of alumni in the whole application process, and how does the networking help in the application process?
In the application process, so there is as such no networking required. You just need to focus on your preparations and diligently filling the application form. You can, however, reach out to alum if you know of an alum for peer review. You can get your essay reviewed by them, or you can take suggestions from them that have a discussion. These are my strengths, these are my weaknesses. Understand what opportunities. One, information is already there on the website about the research centers and the various initiatives. You can check, you can be curious, you can be intrigued, you can have a conversation with alum, but as such, networking is not really required at this stage. You will get an opportunity to officially interact with them at the interview, right? So on that day, when you're called for the interview, your panelists are going to be ISB PGP alums. So at this stage, really as such networking or that you don't have to really sort of focus. However, feel free to reach out to them if you want any help, get your essay reviewed, have a conversation. You can ask them to mentor you for about 30 minutes and help you crystallize your essay and get better clarity of what you want to do in future. That conversation you can have unofficially or officially. So that's about it.
Thank you so much. That sums up my
right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. All right. Hi, Jasmine. Please go ahead with your question.
Hi, ma'am. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening, Jasmine. I'm very good. Thank you for asking. Hope all good at your end.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, just a couple of short questions. So, is there any preference for, the first round, the second round, or the third round in terms of admission?
All right. Again, a very, very important question. A lot of students ask me. So guys, as such, there's no weightage or importance between round 1, 2, 3, but I'm just telling you, this is something that you should know, not just for ISB, but in general about a B school, that guys, the first 2 rounds are very critical, right? Round 1, round 2 is always very critical because maximum number of people are applying. Right now is the peak admissions period, right? From September, mid-September to December first week, almost all the top B schools have their deadlines. So this is a very, very important period for all the admission team members because a lot of students are writing and applying. So round 1, round 2 is important, right? No process changes as such. It's the same application form. It's the same essay, the same interview process. It's not like, the CAT paper ki, slot 1 is easy, slot 2 is difficult, or vice versa. It's the same, but it's just that the number of applications, maximum number of scholarships, maximum number of seats get filled in round 1, round 2. So those things are there. That's why I think maybe in general, there is a perception that, people find that R3 is a little difficult, but nothing in the process changes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, Jasmine. And we move on to Bhavika. Hi, Bhavika. Please go ahead with your question. Yes.
Hi, Richa. Good evening. How are you?
Hi, Bhavika. Thank you. Good evening. Doing very well. How about you?
Yeah, great. So I have about 3 questions. So is there any cutoff quota for international students that you guys have in terms of the total batch size?
Batch size? No. There's no cutoff as such. Every year we get about 20, 25 students, international students. So, but as such, no quota as such, no. It changes every year. It had drastically gone down during the pandemic. And it is very dynamic number. Totally depends on, we have some corporate tie-ups. So like Samsung sends every year 3 students, 3 from students from Korea. So we have some corporate tie-ups, and there is some international interest who want to come to India and work. So we get those interests. Yeah.
Okay. Would there be any like preference given to international students over Indian students?
No preference either in scores or isn't the CGPA as such, or the recruitment process. Yes, with respect to the cutoff for international students, the cutoff is slight. So for Indian students, we saw 610 in GMAT, for example. 610 is like is the minimum. Like you cannot, we don't expect an Indian student to go below 600. For international students, we have students with 560, 580. So that's it. That's the only change.
Okay, and in the 1 year, is it possible to do more than 1 term in any other campus, or it's just 1 term, that's it?
It's just 1 term, 1 exchange program in 1 year.
And it could be anything as long as the bidding process is followed?
Yes, absolutely. Could be any term, could be any college of your choice, as long as you're able to be the fastest finger first, so to say.
Okay. Anything that you think would help the application of an international student more? Like anything that you've not covered so far, and maybe, just...
So for international students, we have a couple of scholarships, right? One is international diversity. The second one is, and this one is also for Indians who are working abroad. We call it as Bridge to India Scholarship. So for those Indian students who want to come back to the country and serve the nation, want to contribute to the Indian economy. So we have various scholarships. I think that's the only thing which is different, which I did not cover here, because this is, I was assuming that these are more Indian students. So I think there are different components of scholarships that ISB has to offer to the international audience. But again, it's the same form. Whatever form that you see, application form, it's the same form. The process is also simple. And yeah, the only 2 differences. One, scholarship is different. For Indian students, it's merit, need, and diversity. For international students, we have a bunch of other scholarships. Second, that for Indian students, we have never recruited anybody with a score less than 600. But for international students, we have folks with 780, 760 as well. So these are the only differences.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, sure, Bhavika. Thank you.
Richa,
Yes, Kaushik, tell me.
Relation to the exchange program. Somebody has asked a key set of questions. Name is not here. So the very first question is: does exchange program have any value addition? Yes, it has it. Definitely, because you get to go to one of the best business schools globally. You interact with the faculty. You get to learn from them. Also, you interact with their students. So, of course, in terms of value addition, yes, there is a lot. Also, Richard has asked, what is the duration of such exchange programs internationally? If you can throw some light on that.
Sure. So, of course, I can't see the name of the student here in the chat window. It says anonymous, but duration changes. So in ISB, 1 term is equivalent to 5 weeks. Okay. But that's ISB's length of a term. For Kellogg, it could be 2 weeks, it could be 3 weeks. For LBS, it could be 15 days or 20 days. So it depends on which college you are choosing. You will have to abide by their norms, right? So the duration can vary. To each his own. We have 50-60 different colleges. All of them duration differs and changes. So you will have to possibly in your LMS, it will be given that when the start date and the end date of the exchange program will be given. So you'll get to know. But it's different for each college. Put the short answer to that.
Thank you. And the third question to the exchange program by the same student is, does it impact the time taken to complete the degree? No, it is not. Everybody who goes for the exchange program or opt out of it completes the degree in 12 months.
Sure. So it does not impact the time taken because like I said that it is part of the 1 year, right? So it's not that you are additionally spending that time or that you are letting go of any other it could so happen that this exchange program may intersect with your graduation week, but that's a call that you'll have to take. I've had alums who said that I chose Wharton's immersion and I did let go of my graduation week. So it may happen that it will clash with your graduation week, but I think that's a call that you will have to make. It's to each his own again, go for it. And other impact is that, yes, definitely you will have to be traveling to that particular country. So that's an additional financial impact, right? The travel and the visa charges have to be additionally borne by the student. What is already included is the tuition fee of that exchange program, your courseware, etc., your stay at the campus, on the campus for that immersion is covered, but there could be an additional financial impact, right, for your travel. So that's about it. Apart from that, again, there's positive impact, networking opportunity, you get to interact with other schools, other college students, get to understand that country better. So everything else is in the positive swing.
All right. One more question, Richa,
sure.
It is he is interested in marketing club. So ISB has a marketing club or not? If yes, then what kind of contribution they have made it to the industry? And also we want to know that what kind of interventions does a faculty have to these clubs?
Okay, so we do have marketing club, Prakhar, and they conduct various conclaves, they conduct various workshops, they invite various industry leaders. They also participate in various case competitions, right? I think 2-3 days back, we've also won the Hindustan Unilever case comp. It's there on our school handle as well. So they conduct all of these learning opportunities for you. And faculty, yes, whenever the workshops or the conferences are happening, they rope in the faculty members, but otherwise these clubs are student-led. Right? You will be working very closely with the SEAL team, which we call it as student engagement and applied learning. So they dedicatedly work with the students on all of these clubs. So it's a student-led initiative. If you feel you want to add anything new to this club, feel free. You'll have to collaborate with the SEAL team and take it forward. Rope in a faculty if you want to as a mentor, but that's about it.
Thank you, Richa. Also, there's one question regarding GMAT.
We'll come to that, Kaushik. I think we've taken too many chat windows. Let's hear it from the students. We'll come back to the chat again. And we'll move on to Tara. Hi, Tara. Please go ahead with your question.
Hi. So I just had a very quick question. LOR is also a very important element of the entire admission procedure. I just wanted to know, sometimes it happens so that some of your leaders are not available to write the LOR because it's very extensive. I know how the ISB LOR works. So is it possible to have it written by any of the other company members with whom you've had a chance to collaborate with, helped with, or your client?
Yeah, absolutely. You can do that. You can reach out to earlier organizations, earlier reporting managers, or any other partner, stakeholder, client, vendor, customer. Absolutely. Because that's how the family business guys will also go about, or the entrepreneurs will also go about, right? Because none of your family member can, or your relative can write this. So this is absolutely also applicable to the working professionals as well. You can reach out to any of the stakeholders whom you work closely with.
Understood. Thank you so much.
All right, Tara. Thank you. And we move on to Hi Siddhant. Over to you. Please go ahead with your question.
Hello, Richa. I just had a question more to do with the applicant's age. I did see in the slides that the average age is 27 and it goes up to 43. But how much of a weightage does ISB generally give to age, particularly for people above 30?
No weightage on age. Absolutely no weightage on age, Siddhant.
Is there a preference for younger
not at all.
applicants or anything of that sort?
Nothing. There's no preference to any of the brackets, be it EO or YLP or direct, and within direct 5 to 8 or 8 to 10 or plus 10 plus. There's absolutely no preference. Nothing at all.
Got it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay. And hi, Kirutika. Sorry, I think I'm not sure if I pronounced it correctly.
Yeah, you pronounced it rightly. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you so much. And the info session is going great so far. I'm really glad that I am a part of this.
Oh, thank you. I think we should all thank Mitul for getting us together and this opportunity. So yeah, absolutely. Pleasure interacting with you guys. Yeah.
Right. So I have two questions.
Sure.
First question is, I know that there's this opportunity for students to like change their career. Like probably they'll be part of engineering background, and then they just want to get into a retail sort of company later, which is not purely engineering. So this opportunity prevails in ISB, I know that. But when a student writes an application or the essay, is it necessary that, they can be like, I'm aspiring to be in this sort of an industry, but is it necessary that you should bridge that aspiration to what you've already been working with?
Not at all.
Yeah. Do you require some justification as to like, will there be questions like, what, Kritika, you are from a sales background, working in an engineering company, but you aspire to be in a marketing role in a lifestyle based company. What are the activities that probably you have done so far in your career which is relatable to your aspiration or something like that? My aspirations can be just an aspiration.
Absolutely. You could be doing absolutely 360-degree shift of whatever you're doing now. They would want to know that, and how do you aspire to get there? How do you, what is it that, excites you about it? And how suddenly, why that shift? They would want to know the why. But understand at ISB that, we are all trained to do a strength-based evaluation. We as AdCom members or the alums on that day who will be interviewing you, we are trained, we have to go through a workshop to be able to evaluate the candidate on strength-based. So we do not ask any questions on gaps. The gaps could be in education, could be in employment. It's something that a candidate has gone through. So we don't ask any questions on gap. And if a candidate is seeking for a very, very 360-degree shift, and if he or she is aspiring never to let down any dream, there is no big dream, small dream, bad dream, good dream. The aspiration or the transition can be unique to each of the students. So we have to respect that space. We have to respect that aspiration, and we then train to ask questions around it. So don't worry, nobody's going to question you on, how are you going to manage this? Because you will be, I'm sure, capturing that these are my strengths because of which I want to move here, and these are my weaknesses, or these are the gaps, and this is how I will want to leverage the ISB opportunity. So I think that you will already capture in your essay. And yeah, I think it'll be an interesting conversation to sort of, understand that after doing X work for like so many years. How come now suddenly, this is catching your attention? So I think it will be a nice interaction, casual interaction, but yeah, they'll not grill you on that for sure.
Right. Great answer. So I'll move on to the second question. It's just a curiosity. See, I know that there are, this is a very diverse group of students that I'm going to be, being a part of. Among those 10% of students who are like extremely diverse, for example, the badminton player or, a singer or a dancer.
Correct, which is very less. Hardly 10% of the cohort is like extreme diversity. Yeah.
Extreme diverse. So I just want to know how, why they come into ISB and what is their career after ISB? What do they do? And how come this ISB PGP program helps them to, because I really couldn't connect of what their career was previously and what they'll be doing in future. Just wanted an idea about it. So if you can give me a couple of examples.
Wow. So, so many stories, and each year we review like thousands of essays. Believe you me, each story is very unique and each career transition is very, very unique. However, the one common thread or the one common thing that we look for in each of the application is that beyond everything, how an MBA is stitching in their entire story, right? So it's very important for us to understand the need of an MBA first. Right. Then comes the story that why ISB and, blah, blah, blah. But the why MBA component is very, very strong. That is something that we focus on. The diversity and etc. is just to build in that confidence that hey, you know what? There are sports persons who want to get into sports management. So that's their YMBA story. We have lawyers who want to move into or who want to be advisors to the CEOs who want to be able to run businesses. So that's their YMBA story. We have healthcare professionals who want to move into the administration side or who want to become entrepreneurs, who want to bring up, start their own specialty clinics. So that's their YMBA story. So I think that is what we look for. That is one common thread. It cuts across all these profiles. That ultimately all of you all have identified that now is the right time to do an MBA program. That is something that we're looking at.
Right. Great. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah.
All right. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. We move on to next question. Hi, Risha.
Hi, ma'am. Thank you so much for that insightful presentation. I have two questions. First is, I would say, a very process-driven question. So for letter of recommendation process, sometimes organizations are not very comfortable handing out their letterheads to the recommender. So if I'm reaching out to my manager, they're not very comfortable giving out the letterhead to them to write the recommendation. So do you accept email recommendations?
Okay, great, Trisha. So thank you for asking me this question. I should have covered it when I was talking about the LOR. So it's an online process. We don't need any letterhead. We don't need any email. You just need to enter the email ID of the recommender in the portal. And ISB will trigger a form to your recommender. He just needs to fill in the answers. It could be objective type, it could be subjective type, takes about 40-45 minutes. So there's no template, no letterhead, nothing required from your side. Don't worry.
But ma'am, that can also be a security compliance issue for some firms. In that way, is there any way we can take like an offline recommendation, like an email?
You can give their personal email ID. Is that okay?
Okay, that's acceptable. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we have a lot of forgeries, we have a lot of folks from the banking industry, etc., where there are firewalls and the emails are getting delivered. So absolutely, we accept the personal ID, not a problem.
Awesome. Just one last question that's, I think, more relevant to my profile. So I'm working with SaaS-based IT companies in the capacity of an account executive. So if I look at my profile or my journey in the last 5 years, the title jump has not been so significant because at the end of the day, sales is about selling. And after account executive, the progression is business development, sales development, and account executive or account management. The profile or the title doesn't change. There's a very nuanced difference between the different, I would say, the undertaking increases in terms of the ticket size that you're dealing with, the kind of client base that you're dealing with. So there is no particular spike that I can show in my professional life. So what would be your recommendation around that? How can that be formulated in a more effective way? Because I feel very comfortable on the extracurricular side. I have been involved in just sports and I've worked for Make a Difference for 4 long years for my entire college graduation. So on that front, I still have some stories to pick in. Yeah, but work-wise and also academic-wise, I don't have a spike. Like,
no, great. So absolutely, which is just fine because that's your story. And again, I'm telling you that it's okay if there is no spike or there's no progression with respect to designation or even organization. You could be in the same organization, but I'm sure that whatever work that you were doing 4 years back. So just one quick question. Have you been part of this organization throughout, or have you?
No, I've worked with 4 different organizations in the last, 3 different organizations in the last 5 years.
Okay.
But the undertaking is increased. So if I was talking to, let's say, a first try on urban company, now I'm talking to Facebook, Google, Yahoo Japan, all these kind of entities. So the undertaking increases, but the title remains the same over the course of the year.
Perfect. You just answered, right? So you're handling more bigger and better and complex clients. And that's it. That's progression.
Got it. Because if somebody looks at my resume, they say, hey, there's no progression because the title has remained the same for the last 2 years. So where's the progression?
No. So basically, you need to understand that student recruitment is very different from HR recruitment. Okay. Right. So when you possibly are looking for jobs, etc., the HR might be negotiating with you on that. But when it comes to student recruitment, we don't look at designations. We don't look at the name of the organization you come from. We don't look at your salary. We only look at your work. What impact are you creating? What are the kind of roles and responsibilities you were handling then vis-a-vis you are handling now? So bingo, you have progression. Whatever you were handling ABCD clients vis-a-vis the clients you're handling now, you're handling bigger, better, more complex stakeholders projects. So that's progression. Absolutely.
Got it. Thank you for answering that, ma'am.
All right. All the best, Risha. Thank you. Okay, 2 more questions before we go to the chat. And next is Parth. Hi, Parth. Please go ahead with your question.
Hi, ma'am. Good evening. Hi, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, Parth. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Great.
I completely understood the 6 parameters that y'all talked about. Right. I just wanted to ask one thing. I just got into the ISB process and everything. And I started with my GMAT preparation of late.
Great.
So probably looking at the 24-25 intake, I just wanted to ask if I'm in the right direction right now.
Sure. Okay. So, and if I may ask, 24-25. So, okay. So when are you writing your GMAT GRE?
Summers next year.
Summers next year. Okay. Oh, great. So definitely you will fall in possibly the R1 of next year, Parth. And the right time to know is when your quench or when your requirement of doing a management program is very high. Right. So it could be a realization for someone at the age of, or rather with 2 years of experience, or a Fauji after serving a long-term service, after 20 years wants to move into corporate, wants to then do an MBA, or somebody who's been into research, very technical stuff, IT stuff, after 10-12 years wants to now move into strategy leadership and says, hey, you know what, I'm doing an MBA. So the need of why MBA can be for different people at different stages of their career. So if you have had that realization, and if you are in your head very convinced that I've hit the ceiling and only an MBA can save me from this point on, then you're ready. Otherwise, otherwise it's everybody has a different story, right? So
got it, ma'am. Got it.
Not one size fit all. Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we have one more question. Hi, Richa. You go ahead with your question.
Thank you for letting me ask. And also I'm very thankful just answering the questions with same excitement and energy.
Oh, thank you so much, Richa. Thank you so much. Pleasure. No, I think it always helps. I mean, I always get my energy from interaction and all of these one-to-one conversations. So I think, thank you. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Richa, you're not audible.
She's unmute, but not audible.
Yeah. No worries. I think we should. I think there's some network issue.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we'll just pick up questions in the chat window.
Yes. So, this is asking, what is the perfect GMAT cutoff for a 6+ years of experience?
6+ years from government sector. Again, Piyush, you have one very good diversity in your profile, that you are representing the government sector, right? So I think you should build on that diversity. And again, no right score, wrong score. Given that you've got 6 years of experience, you have great diversity quotient in your profile. I think you should get overall your profile score should be good. You should be able to build a very strong case. So please focus on your essay. That will become very critical for you. Talk about the challenges that you're facing, and then after this, whether you want to go back to the government or you want to work with a corporate or you want to start something of your own, we would love to see what you have in store for yourself. So I think just build on your essay. No right score, wrong score, guys. It's a range. And also, let me also add here, guys, I don't know if I mentioned this, but again, I'm repeating that we AdCom members or the alums do not have access to your score. So when we get your application for review, when we are reviewing your application essay and all the content, we do not get to see your marks. And so at the time of the interview, the alums are only reading your letter of recommendation or reading the essays. So we do not have access to your scores. So I don't even know what the score is like for the person, the essay that I'm reading, right? So it's just in your head. So park it and leave it. Focus on what I want to do next, how I am unique, what I bring to the table. Just focus on all of those things. Basically, spend time on the essay. That's it. Right, Kaushik, let's take the next question.
Yes, Abhishek has asked a very interesting question. I have experience of 7+ years. Should I apply for an executive MBA or a PGP?
For a PGP, is Abhishek there? I would love to unmute him because I need a quick follow-up question. Hi, Abhishek, could you unmute yourself? Or Kaushik, can you just unmute Abhishek?
Let me try. Abhishek, if you can.
Hi, Abhishek.
Yes, Abhishek, you yeah.
Hi, Abhishek. Abhishek, my next question to you is, while you're eligible for both, frankly speaking, both the full-time MBA and the executive MBA, but my first question to you is that, Abhishek, are you okay to leave your job for 1 year based on your personal commitments or your professional commitments, or you cannot leave your job, you have to be with your family, you have to be part of your ongoing project, and you can only study on the weekends? So how is it that you're placed, Abhishek?
No, actually, I am okay with leaving the job for 1 year.
You're okay with leaving the job for 1 year, right? So Abhishek, then you should go for a full-time MBA. If you have the privilege and if you are in that space that even after 7 years, your personal responsibilities are not such that, that will bind you to the work, then you should go for the full-time MBA. Executive MBA programs are designed for those working professionals who, for whatever, school kids, house EMI, etc., old parents, la-di-da-da, they have so many reasons they cannot leave their job. That is why the executive MBA program was launched by ISB, right? So if you can switch the engine, pull the plug on the corporate life for 1 year, please go ahead with a full-time MBA, because only a full-time MBA can give you that career transition. Mind you, the executive MBA programs do not have placements. They do not offer placements as well. You should not even get into ISB executive MBA with the expectation ki abhi let me just enroll, later on I will ask the school to get me something. No, we've been doing this for 10 years. There is no placements for executive MBA. So if you're looking for a career transition, if you can pull the plug for 1 year, go for a full-time Abhishek.
Got it. Thank you so much, Richa.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Rishi.
And Dhriti also does a show of hand, and the next question is Dhriti. So we will talk to Dhriti. Yes, Dhriti, please go ahead. Kaushik, can you help Dhriti unmute?
Yeah, she can unmute herself now. Yeah.
Okay, so Dhriti, while you're trying to figure that out, I see a question which is on the exchange program, right? So Dhriti, in the PGP program, we have a component called the student exchange program, and this is an international immersion. You can pick up any college, any term of your choice from the LMS that is available to you after you become a student, and you can visit that college, that university, that country, attend that one entire term. So that's the exchange program. Once you're shortlisted for PGP, ISB PGP, you're automatically eligible for that exchange program. There'll be further no more evaluation process. Shortlisting or gaining a seat is dependent on the bidding system. If you bid the maximum points and fastest in your cohort, then you get a seat to that college. So that's the process, Dhriti. And if you have additional question, we would love to hear from you, but we are not able to unmute you. So
actually, I just got a pop-up that she's using the older version.
Sure, no problems. We will take the next question. I think she will log in again. So we move on to Anjali. Hi, Anjali. I see a show of hand. Please go ahead.
Hi, Richa. I just wanted to ask that it is mandatory to have a work experience because I am planning to start my PG as soon as after I complete my graduation.
Okay, so yes, Anjali, when you join the PGP program, it is mandatory to have at least 2 years of experience. So if you are planning to do your PG, then what you can do is you can apply through the YLP program. Okay, you will be ultimately applying for the PGP program. YLP is a route which allows either the UG or the PG students. So in your case, because if you are picking up PG immediately without a break, then you are also eligible for YLP. You can apply through the YLP route.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Kaushik, just help Anjali with the YLP application link in the chat window. So you can absolutely apply through the YLP route, Anjali. What you will get is you will get a deferred admission letter, and you don't need a GMAT GRE score. Only for YLP students and all the other students, if they're present today in this session, right now you don't need to give your score. You can apply without the score. We will give you 1 year's time to submit your score. So that's a very, very convenient option for YLP folks. And
ma'am,
Anjali, you don't have any break, right? Immediately after your graduation, you will be getting into PG.
But also I'll be getting my GMAT, so should I or not?
That's okay. If you're writing GMAT, it's okay. It's an option that you have that we give you 1 year's time.
Then a profile should be more strong than ma'am.
Again, the process is the same for YLP folks again. It's just that it has more convenience. It's a more longish process because after 1 year only, we will start the interview process, etc. So there's no change as such. Of course, there are more essays. In PGP, there are 2 essays. Here, there are about, I think, 3 essays. So that's it. Process is the same, Anjali.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anjali, I have given the YLP application link in the chat box. You can check.
Okay, Prakhar says, is there a diversity factor in LOR? By this, I mean, can I get required LOR from the same company? And how much their background matters? So who writes for you is not important, Prakhar. What he writes for you is more important. Okay, so you could get it from the same organization, your previous organization, your current reporting manager, your earlier reporting manager, suit yourself. But there are no brownie points on the profile of your recommender. It's on the content, what he writes for you, right? So that's why you have to be a little careful and intelligent. Onboard the person before you trigger the link to him, onboard him on your journey, pick up the phone, talk to him, explain why this is important, how much it is important, block his calendar, be professional on a weekend, block his 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and ensure that it is done on the weekend. Again, this can be done right away itself. You can today go back after this session, open the laptop, log into the portal, trigger the email today itself. Don't have to wait till the deadline. Right, Varun says, what advantages do students from ISB have that students that complete MBA from abroad don't have? All right, so Varun, so it's again a very interesting question. Depends on the kind of college that you are picking up, which country you are picking up. You will have to connect with alums in that country. We have heard, we've received feedback from a lot of students who wanted to apply to ISB, did not apply, went abroad, did their MBA program. The corporate canvas right now abroad is not very friendly. Given that the recession is upcoming, the difficulty of getting a job because the norms are very stringent. Even if UK gives you a 2 years stay with for the work visa, getting things done is not easy there. So I will thoroughly recommend you to please interact with Indian students well, and then know what you're getting into. But with respect to knowledge, that was with respect to career. With respect to knowledge, ISB gives you the same global management program, possibly at 1/3 the price. So definitely when it comes to the final calculation of your ROI, you got to be intelligent. Ultimately, knowledge is more important. Job to kahin bhi lag jayegi, kisi bhi organization mein lag jayegi. You don't have to worry about jobs and careers when you're aiming for Ivy League colleges. Brands will come for you because you have the brand ISB or the top brands in your resume. So job is not a problem. Education, knowledge is more important. That's what will keep you relevant. That's what will keep you going, will keep you fight all the challenges that the corporate life will throw at you. So it's ultimately your decision. We are offering you the same Wharton, Kellogg, Stanford, pick up any university, same faculty coming and teaching you here in India. Cost is definitely 1/3. So that's the second thing that you can probably think of, which is the financial aspect. Okay. And
Anjali, remember we spoke about the difference between the degree quota and performance quota in the orientation?
Okay, AV team, can you just mute all the attendees, please? Yeah, thank you. Okay, we have Kishore. Kishore, please go ahead. We see a show of hand. Kishore, Syed, we have 2 show of hands. Anybody, please go ahead with your question.
My question is with regards to...
Kishore, you're not audible.
Hi, Isha. Am I audible?
Yes,
this is Syed.
I can hear you. And this is
Yeah.
Syed, is it?
Yeah, this is Syed.
Yeah, Syed, please.
Okay. So the question from my side is like, after 1 year's experience, can we apply for YLP program? Like,
no, YLP program is for graduates or after graduation, if you've taken up masters immediately, then if you're a master's student, then you can apply for YLP.
like, because we are in a transition, like we have 1 year of experience, but we doesn't complete 2 years of experience, like which is the like initial criteria. So still you cannot apply for the YLP.
No, for YLP, there cannot be prior experience or any gap or anything as such between the education.
Okay, and then one more question, like as you said, like in the panel win doesn't know about the GMAT or GRS score. So
Yep.
where this GMAT and GRS score holds the value, like at which place, which stage?
So at the allocation, so when you are getting final shortlist for the interview, so the engine, the backend algorithm takes care of the allocation. We have a lot of members, AdCom members who are reviewing, but none of us have, irrespective of the hierarchy. He could be a big shot faculty, he could be a big shot alum who could be reviewing your essay, but none of us have access to your scores. It's totally must. It's an automatic allocation of marks, which is done by the engine itself.
Okay, I got my answers. Thank you. Thank you so much for answering.
Thank you, Syed. Thank you so much. Yes, Kishore, please go ahead with your question.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Thank you for your time this evening. So my quick question is with regards to experience. I guess you answered it with regards to age. I see that the number of 8+ years experience candidates are lower. Is it because of the funnel that you have, or is it there is some criteria about not taking higher experience candidates?
No, again, I think, like I said, right, more and more senior folks find it very difficult to switch off from their job for one complete year. Could be professional, could be personal. So at the outer funnel, at the application stage itself, we have less and less, applications coming in from the 8 years, 10 years, 15 years. Because it's very crucial possibly for them to pick up a part-time or something which is modular in nature, not 1 year. So yeah, that's the thing.
But what do you suggest? Like if one can spare 1 year, is it more?
Absolutely. If you can spare 1 year, you should go for a full-time 1-year MBA program. Absolutely. More than that, the campus life, I mean, classroom learning is one, but ISB becomes your home for next 1 year. The kind of friendships and the bonds that you build here remain with you for a lifetime. And also remember that after this 1 year also, even if you get a placement right now, it's not that you're going to be in this organization till your retirement. After a few years, you will look for another transition.
Correct.
This is that alum network that will help you transition, irrespective of the country, organization, function that you are looking for. Every organization, you'll find ISB alums. In every leadership ladder, pick up any hierarchy, any cadre, and you will see an ISB alum there. So for all of those opportunities, one must go for the flagship MBA program for any college for that matter. If you can switch off for 1 year, go for the flagship program. Nothing beats a flagship program of a school.
So now back to my first question. Does having higher experience become a negative for the application?
Not at all. Not at all. Absolutely not. Doesn't even become negative for recruitment also. Organizations come with very specific roles, very senior positions for senior folks. So not at all.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right, great. Hi, Saloni. Please go ahead with your question.
Hi, Richa. Hi, Kaushik. I am, to give you a background, I'm working in tax right now, and I would want to transition into a more non-rule or something, non-law based. So I know that I want to get into something like that, but I don't know specifically what I want or, which kind of role will suit me. So if you say that if I have to bridge this gap or something in my essay, is it important for me to know what exactly I want to do after, or is it something that along the way of MBA I will get to know?
So absolutely, not all the students have absolute clarity of, what they want to do and hitting the exact industry and the organization, but at least you understood and realized those gaps. So somewhere you will have to bring in your why MBA, right, Saloni? The very fact that you are thinking of an MBA, somewhere deep down within your conscience, that question is there that I want to do an MBA. I'm hitting my ceiling. You are facing a challenge at work, or you are possibly not able to grow beyond a point. So it's okay to talk about those challenges also, that I want to, possibly fill in these gaps, and then, possibly move to the next. It will help me move into the next level of management. Even if I have to be in the same industry, even if I have to be in the same organization, it will help me move into the next management level. You will walk up the ladder at least with those additional skill sets. So it's okay to talk about that as well.
Okay, so no
transition within self also is important, right? So yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, Saloni. Thank you so much.
Richa, I would like to take a few questions from chat.
Yes, we will quickly go to the chat because I don't see. Oh, I have one more show of hand. Anant, let's take that. I love talking to students. Sorry, Kaushik, we'll take those questions.
No,
Anant. Yes,
hi,
please go.
hi, Kaushik.
Hi.
I had a tiny question. Does the combination of a younger age and a really high work ex kind of add weightage to your application?
Sorry, so say that again. A combination
of a younger age and a really high work experience add weightage to your application.
Again, I'm telling you, the number of years of work experience has no points. The kind of work that you've done in your stint, that matters. So there'll be no sort of correlation, because I understand you possibly started working, or you created a startup while you were working. So even after the graduation, maybe your full-time work experience is how much, Anant, if I may ask?
I have close to 6 years of work.
6 years, but your overall total work experience is?
Probably close to 7-8 years.
7-8 years, right? So, so that's just fine. Ultimately, what the kind of work that you've done in either 6 years full time, because the system will only calculate your work experience as 6 by default.
Okay.
Right? Because any work experience that is colliding or is in conflict with your education date will not be accepted by the system. You either have to delete those number of years from your employment tab or mark it as part-time. Okay, but you cannot have 2 full-time stints in 1 year in the same period. Okay, so it's just fine. We will be more interested to see the kind of work that you've done. What is the kind of impact that you've created, your contribution to that project or that organization. So that's what we are looking at, not the number of work experience.
Got it. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, all the best, Anant. And yes, Kaushik, we can quickly move to the chat window. Let me see if there is any topic. If we've not seen, I want to pick up a new topic. Let's see how much recession will have impact in the coming years for ISB students. Not for ISB students, because India is a recession-proof economy, thankfully. So placements are going great. We don't see any impact. Next question is oil and gas. I don't see many people doing MBA because it's a field very technical and experience driven. Do people from similar technical experience do MBAs? Oh yes, Varun,
Yes,
we
there
have
are quite a few in current cohort. Yeah, there are.
quite a few. Kaushik is one guy who keeps interacting with students, so we have a couple of students. So absolutely. Again, Varun, you will have to talk about, yes, it's technical, but you could be talking about the challenges that you're facing with respect to managing a product, managing your stakeholders, or possibly now you want to move into the strategic and leadership side of things, or maybe you want to now move into consulting, right? So pick up
Absolutely.
your
I
thread.
was about to say that. Yeah.
So pick up your thread, whatever you sort of like. Okay.
And not just people from the private companies, there are people who have worked in PSUs also are the part of the ongoing or the current cohort from oil and gas background. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Also, this question, okay, I have already pursued an MBA. It will be my second MBA. So, is there any chances to apply? And absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good question. So not just MBA, guys. If it's any other masters as well, right? Or even if you've done a PhD, it will not impact if you're doing your second masters or if you're doing your second MBA. It's just that, again, possibly you will have to talk about that, even in this case specifically, that even after one MBA, if you're still identified those challenges, if you've still identified those gaps at work, so just focus on that, but no negatives. It's not going to impact your candidature as such.
Absolutely. And think from the perspective that your previous knowledge which you have gained from the MBA is definitely going to add on if you get through ISB. Yeah.
Okay.
Also,
just says that if you want to move into completely, it's a follow-up question to Kirutika. If you want to move into completely different type of job, growing IT, I have mainly worked in software, but I now want to move into business strategy. Okay, is there a problem? Is there a program or activity at ISB that can help me to fill the gap of role transition? So business strategy, right? So you're in the right place. Strategy, leadership, all of this is part of the ISB PGP program. So you're choosing the right program. You can pick up a specialization on IT and technology innovation. So you can major in that. You can pick up maximum of 2 specializations. So you could pick up strategy as a specialization. You could pick up technology as a specialization. So absolutely right program. Okay, very important question. During placements, do companies look at your previous CTC? No. They do not look at previous CTC. They do not look at the previous industry or the previous function. They will don't. So I mean, I know where this question is coming from. That with respect to getting the new offer, with respect to negotiation, does it impact? No, not at all. Mayur says, I have an experience of 8+ years in food manufacturing industry and on MTech too. So what's the GMAT score will be enough to get enrolled into the program? Oh, Mayur, very difficult question. Don't ask me that one right GMAT score, because I really don't have an answer to this question. Not just for this, but guys, don't ask me what is that one right score. Really very, very difficult. It's a range at ISB that we look at, please. Okay, name is not there, but unfortunately I'm unable to unmute myself. Sorry for that, but have one last question. Will executive MBA degree be considered under part-time MBA category in corporate world? Yeah, of course, because they're not full-time programs, right? They are modular in nature. They're happening over weekends. So definitely it's not a full-time regular MBA, right? Kapil, okay, so my job is in the IT development and want to switch into marketing consulting. Then why MBA? I used to mention that I have practical exposure of marketing, but seems that does not give clarity to interviewers. So can I link that? Please explain. Yeah, absolutely, Kapil. I don't see any sort of red flag here. So if you're in IT development, want to move into marketing consulting, that's your MBA story. That's why you want to join this MBA program. That's how you will leverage the ISB as a platform. So sure, absolutely not a problem. You are probably running your own family business, I'm assuming, right? So yeah, absolutely. Great, Kapil. Thank you so much for the question. So no more questions in the chat window. Any more show of hands, guys? Please feel free to ask them all.
I cannot see any down. I think there are no more questions. I have mentioned the application link in the chat box, the PGP as well as I for YLP. Also, Richa's LinkedIn profile, and I mentioned mine. You can reach out to us anytime with regards to any question you have. And also, I'm mentioning the email ID of mine. I think I have already mentioned in one of the chats. I will mention my email ID. You can write it to me directly.
Right, there's one more question from Abhi. Yeah. So very interesting question. So she is working for FAANG company, but wants to, of course, move up the executive ladder. So can I opt for placement in the same company at a better position? Absolutely. So this conversation you will have to have with the placement team once you're onboarded, because they will work with you from day one, trying to understand your dream company, your dream role. So if you aspire to move back to the same organization, so this conversation you can have with the placement team. They will reach out to your organization and negotiate that for you. So it is possible. Great. Thank you so much, Diti. I think the pleasure was all ours. Yes, we do see a show of hand. Go ahead, Abhi. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. Abhi.
It's Abhipsha Richa. Hello, Richa. Hi, Kaushik. I'm attending the session for the second time. It's so fortunate of me. So yeah, I have
us that you are attending it for the second time. Thank you so much.
No, it's pleasure are all mine. So the quick question which I asked is like, I'm working for a FANG company, like Google. I'm working for Google right now. So I just wanted to go for the higher post in that company. So is it like a possible post ISB graduation? I can opt for that. So
yeah, absolutely. And they are, frankly speaking, are regular onboarded organizations as well, right? So if there is a specific role which is on your mind, you can absolutely have this conversation with the placements team. And this is exactly that they do. They will start working with you from day one, trying to understand your profile, trying to understand your strengths, your weaknesses. What is it that you want to do? They will take a list of your dream organizations, your dream roles. So please brief them and they will help you with this.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All the best.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a very interesting question. If you found some why MBA, so we are actually currently running a series on our social media. Kaushik, if you can place the Instagram handle also on the chat. So every week we are posting one why MBA story of our students. So you can pick up the cue from there. And we have done it with a DRDO scientist. We've done with, of course, Ajay Jairam. I think last week we did with, so we have a producer, actor, director from South. She does small documentary films. So we are trying to capture those stories. So it's there on our social media handle. Kaushik is just posting the link, so you can pick it up from there.
It's here in the chat.
I have a show of hand as well here. Yes, Bhushan, please go ahead. Yeah, Bhushan, can you go ahead with your question? I'm not sure if you're able to unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can have.
Yeah. So as I'm telling you, I'm a parent, not a student. My son is preparing for GMAT. He is bent on doing his MBA or MSc in marketing from abroad, either UK or USA.
Okay.
And I'm not very comfortable going to UK, USA, but to do I want to convince him to do it from India, and particularly say from ISB. So how can I compare, or how can I explain him that ISB is as good as doing it from abroad?
Sure. So one, we can definitely get onto a call with your son and understand that why the abroad component, right? What is it that he's actually gunning for? Be it career transition or be it learning opportunities, ISB offers both. We have so many alums, any country. In fact, tomorrow we are doing a session, Careers Abroad, where we've invited 3 of our very senior alums who are in different parts of the world, exactly to cater this pain point that people think that if I study in India, my chances of working abroad reduces, or my chances of settling abroad reduces. So they have been able to create a mark, and they are not very distant, far graduates. They are graduates of 2019, 17, in last 3-4 years who've been able to make that transition, right? So I think Kaushik, please do also share the tomorrow's session link. We will also formally send one round of reminder to all of you all. So please ask him to attend that session, and we would love to hear what exactly are his, are his 1 or 2, 3 key takeaways of MBA program, because you have to strategize your why MBA story, right? That if I enroll into a business school, if I enroll into this MBA program, I'm not just investing money, but I'm investing 1 year of my life. So these are my takeaways, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I want to understand that where is that study abroad element coming from? Careers, I have enough and more answers. If there's a specific country, I have specific country-wise breakup of who I'm doing what, where, which organization. What is it that he wants? And why is that? Why does he think that ISB cannot give him that? Second, with respect to knowledge, because we could be old school thought, but I thoroughly believe that, studying and gaining knowledge is more important. Careers ho jayega. And with big brands, all organizations are ready to hire. But if on that day at the recruitment, you are not able to solve the case study, or if you are not able to show that you've got knowledge which is par excellence, any which ways they'll reject your candidature, be it ISB or be it any other college. And also in countries like UK, Canada, US, it's only in India that we have placement, companies are coming, 2 din tambu laga ke they're sitting and giving placements. UK, US, all of this doesn't happen. They will take your profile and they float it in HR. It's like apna dekh lo. And you fight it out. It's your own hustle.
Absolutely.
So it's not like a structured placement thing that happens in India. So it's very important to understand that where is that thought stemming from? Yes, you get an opportunity to visit a new country, but I think, why spend 3 times the money there, study, and then transition, go abroad?
Absolutely.
And that enough opportunity you'll get with ISB as well. So we can do that. We can get on to a call with him 1-to-1 and understand. And I think he should definitely attend tomorrow's session, because there are so many students who have a very similar notion, thought, careers abroad with studying up in India. So we're trying to demystify that. So we are having an exclusive panel discussion tomorrow. Exactly.
Okay. Please share the link. I'll be obliged. Thanks.
Sure. I think, yes, yes, Kaushik has just pasted the webinar link in the chat.
I got it.
Yeah, if you can just pick it up from there, that'll be good.
Sure. Yeah. Also, the idea of workers, which as well as mine, in case of further.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I may ask, are you based out of Hyderabad? You can drop by at the campus as well.
Hello.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask if you are based out of Hyderabad.
No, I'm not based out. I'm based from Mumbai.
Mumbai. Okay, great. Sure. Otherwise, we could have met at the campus itself. Okay, no problem. We can connect over a Zoom call for sure. No worries.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Bhushan. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So, any more questions for us? I'll quickly scroll in the chat window and in our audience list. No, Kaushik, I don't see any questions at my end. Kaushik, do you have any questions in your window?
I have already answered. Yeah, I mean,
okay.
Nothing.
Sure. All right.
Yeah. So I believe with this, we come to the end of the session, right? And in case, if you have any time. Oh, okay. So here comes the show of the hand.
Yes, Ambika, please go ahead.
Yeah. I have one question. I have more than 15 years of experience.
Sure.
So how ISB is different from IAMs, IMABC, as far as placement or learning experience?
Kaushik, I'm not sure if I can hear
that
question.
So,
I think I got the initial part, the difference between ISB and IIMs.
Yes.
I also briefly heard placements and learning.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, okay, great. So see, while they're all big brands, all due respect, I am myself and I am Bangalore alum, so they're all big brands, they are all Ivy League brands. But when it comes to working professionals doing an MBA, okay, if you were a fresh graduate still studying and right out of your graduation, if you do want to do an MBA program, which is a 2-year MIM program, by the way, not MBA. In India, the concept, the difference between MIM and MBA is not very clear. Everything is MBA here. So if you want to do the 2-year MIM, Masters in Management, then nobody beats IIMs, hands down. But if you are a working professional and if you are willing to invest in the 1-year program, which is the MBA program, not MIM program, hands down, ISB is the winner. Not just that we are #1 MBA school in India, but also look at the diversity. We have 900 students who are doing the 1-year program. Vis-a-vis in IIMs, you only have the class size is just about 75. In IIMs, the focus is not diversity. They are very particular about your academics, your scores. So hence, you will see the engineer versus non-engineer diversity is very, very low. They have about more than 90% of engineers in the class. They have more than 90% folks in the class who are male. Female diversity is also less. They have less entrepreneurs. The focus on diversity is huge, is large at ISB. That's why the learning component is very, very unique. Because we have huge range, hence automatically our overall placements track record is also better. And that's why we are world #1 in placements also when it comes to MBA programs, right? So hands down, if you're doing the 1-year program, ISB is the winner because of the learning opportunities, the career opportunities, and your networking opportunities. 900 students at any given point of time for that 1 year. So definitely we were the pioneers, right? You know, in India, ISB was the pioneer to launch the 1-year MBA concept. India was only used to the 2-year MIM programs. ISB was the one who launched the 1-year MBA concept in the year 2001. So we are hands down the leaders in 1-year program. And I'm sure after 15, 16 years, one, MBA will not be very, very relevant because it will be too amateurish, too very basic for you. You would want to go for a more advanced thing like an MBA program. So pick a choice, yeah.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, yeah. All right, Kaushik, I think it's time to wrap it up. And Mitul, if you're around, we would definitely want to hear something from you.
Thank you, Kapil. Thank you for joining. We hope this session was informative and we have been able to answer all your doubts and queries with regards to ISB and application business.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us, taking our time. Thank you, Mitul, for hosting us, organizing this session. It was great interacting with your students. So guys, before we wrap up, one piece of advice that have extreme clarity on your why MBA. It could be any college, any institute, but first have the clarity of, you know, how this program is going to help you in your career, and then pick up the best choice. If you have questions for us, Kaushik has already pasted our coordinates in the window. Feel free to connect with us. Seek any support that you want. Start working on your application if you are gunning for ISB this round or this year. Please don't leave it for the nth moment. Even though you can complete it in 2-3 hours, we will thoroughly recommend you to work, at least start working on it. Give your time, give your essay some time, right? So that's the thought that I would like to leave you with today. All the best for your upcoming endeavors, be it any test that you're writing or any application that you're submitting. All the best for that. And we hope to see you soon on campus very shortly. So yeah, Kaushik, that's about it from my side. Mitul, I know you are a little busy, but shall we just sign off? Shall we just log out?
Yes. Yeah, with this,
yeah, I think yeah, Mitul is not around. Sure, okay. I think we will leave. I'll sign off, Kaushik. Thank you so much for this.
All right. So, and I have also mentioned pgp@isb.edu. This is the official email ID